You. Stop what you're doing and listen close, because the internet is shaking right now. We took on Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, Mr. Morel himself, pulling up in Brazil and blowing the lid off the rap game. And guess who he came for this time? OVO. Yup, Drake's house is on fire and Kendrick's holding the matches. Now listen, this ain't just a concert recap. Nah, this is a whole takedown. A public execution with 50,000 fans scream singing every word like it was a church revival. And what Kendrick said. What he did on that stage. Chilly. It's got Drake's whole team spiraling. Secret Dimes burner tweets. Ghostwriters exposed. And one very unexpected Brazilian connection that just might shake the industry to its core. Word on the street is Kendrick planned this for months. And the way he set it off. Fans are calling it the OVO funeral in Rio. From sneak disses to full-on lyrical war, this ain't no friendly competition. This is personal, so buckle up because we're about to break down every word. Every look, every moment that had the whole world screaming, is Kendrick ending OVO for good. The sun had barely set over Rio de Janeiro when something strange started happening on Twitter. Fans in Brazil, usually hype and full of party vibes, were suddenly posting cryptic videos from inside the arena. Shaky camera footage. Loud screams. The sound of a beat that didn't match any of Kendrick Lamar's known tracks. And then, one tweet hit different. Just for words. He said Drake lied. That was it. That was all the internet needed. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Kendrick Lamar on-stage shirt soaked through with sweat, standing still in the middle of a roaring crowd. The beat drops. He leans into the mic. And calmly, almost like a whisper, he says, they tried to frame the GOAT. But the GOAT know how to climb higher. Fans went silent for a second. Then, boom, eruption. The loudest cheer Brazil had ever witnessed for a rapper. And behind that line, a whole verse that seemed to throw direct shots at OVO, at Drake, his team, and some say even Noah 40 Shabib. Kendrick didn't name names, but the message was loud and clear. The feud that folks thought had cooled off, it was just getting started now. Before we even break down the lyrics, let's rewind and talk about what led up to this moment. Because this wasn't some random diss. Nah, this was months in the making. And some say it started with a leaked verse that was never supposed to see the light of day. Word on the street is that Kendrick's camp had been sitting on a vault of unreleased heat verses recorded during Quaded. If you're recorded during the Damn and Mr. Morale sessions, one of those verses, allegedly featuring strong hints about a Canadian chameleon with a label full of masks, was quietly shopped around to a certain Brazilian festival promoter who has long ties to both artists. And when the OVO camp found out, let's just say all hell broke loose behind the scenes. Sources close to Kendrick say that Drake's team sent feelers, not threats, but soft warnings, telling promoters not to associate Kendrick with any campaign that could misrepresent the truth. But what was the truth? See, that's where things get muddy. Because apparently, a new artist signed under OVO, a mysterious Brazilian rapper known only as Lobo, started dropping hints that Kendrick's people were manipulating stories to turn fans against OVO. Lobo, who's been building buzz for the past year, claimed in an IG Live that someone from PG Lang tried to pay him off to stay silent about a certain 2018 incident in Toronto. What incident? No one knows for sure. But speculation is wild. Some fans think it goes back to Kendrick's surprise appearance at a private OVO event in 2018, where, according to one source, he saw something that changed how he looked at the industry forever. Others believe it's connected to the long-rumored ghostwriting pipeline that runs through OVO, something Kendrick has always spoken out against. Whatever the case, the tensions were boiling long before Brazil. And Kendrick, he chose violence, but not in the way people expected. He didn't tweet. He didn't rant. He booked a show, a massive one, in one of the loudest cities on earth. And he told the promoter, don't censor anything. So when the lights dropped at that arena and the bass started rumbling like an earthquake, fans knew they were about to witness something special. What they didn't expect was the level of precision Kendrick brought. It wasn't just a performance. It was a statement that every song in the setlist was carefully chosen. Every transition told a story. He opened with DNA, but halfway through, he flipped the beat and added a new verse, one that had fans and bloggers dissecting every line within minutes. You use an owl for a logo, I use the mirror for proof. He rapped and the crowd went insane. Then he doubled down. I heard the boy been stressin' since his rider caught a cold. Bless him. The shots were clear. But Kendrick never broke character, never raised his voice. The louder the crowd got, the calmer he seemed. And then came the moment that had social media on fire. The unreleased track. Fans say it was unlike anything he's ever performed. Part spoken word, part rap, part sermon. Over a moody, almost eerie instrumental, Kendrick told a story about betrayal, illusions, and the fight to stay true in a world full of liars. He never mentioned Drake by name, but he didn't have two dot lines like they build you up just to drain your soul. Pour it in streams. Dress it in gold and friendships bought in Toronto condos ain't real hit hard. And then, almost as if he knew the reaction it would cause, he smiled, paused, and said one line that shut the whole arena down. This ain't about charts. This about scars. The lights went black. Silence. Then a single spotlight on Kendrick, standing tall as fans chanted his name in waves. K.K.K-. But just when everyone thought the show was over, the screen behind him flickered, static. And then a grainy video appeared. A FaceTime call. It looked like it had been recorded secretly. Fans gasped. Because on the other side of the screen looked a lot like Drake, or someone in his inner circle. The audio wasn't clear, but a few words slipped through. We can't let him control the narrative. And then it cut off. The crowd lost it. People screamed, others pulled out their phones. The internet went into full meltdown mode. Was it real? Was it edited? No one could tell. But it didn't matter. Kendrick had planted the seed. And by the time the lights came back on and he launched into Humble, the mood had completely shifted. It wasn't just a concert anymore. It was a war cry. Meanwhile, back in North America, Drake's team scrambled. Within hours, OVO posted a statement saying the video was digitally manipulated and warned fans not to fall for stage theatrics. But fans weren't buying it. Because what happened next? I got the original files. Full vocals, unmixed, with the wrong name on M. People went crazy in the comments. Hearts flying, questions pouring in, emojis exploding. What did he mean? Whose vocals? What name? And then he said it. Slow, deliberate. I was there. In the room. The voice y'all think is his. Ain't always his. Gasps. On Live. Was he saying what everyone thought he was saying? That Drake used ghost vocals. Not just ghostwriting, actual ghost vocals. Fans were stunned. And before anyone could make sense of it, Lobo pulled out his phone and played a 5-second snippet of an unreleased OVO track. The voice sounded like Drake, but it wasn't Drake. Same cadence, same rhythm, same flows. But something was off. Just enough to spark doubt. AI, someone commented. Studio clone. Another asked. But Lobo just smirked. That's not AI. That's a man. A real man. Who was promised the world and got silence instead. And boom, the screen went black. Live ended. Gone. But the clip was already out. Reposted everywhere. Hip-hop pages, Reddit threads, YouTube reaction videos. Even TikTok music engineers started analyzing the vocal frequencies. And their conclusion. It's not Drake's raw vocal, one expert said. It's someone trained to sound exactly like him. Suddenly, the narrative shifted again. This wasn't just a lyrical beef anymore. This was now about integrity. About authenticity. About the one thing hip-hop holds sacred, your voice, your truth. And while OVO tried to hit back, posting vague denials and hinting at lawsuits, the damage was already done. Kendrick didn't even have to speak. The streets were speaking for him. The fans had crowned him the truth teller. And Drake. Now he was on defense, but hold on. The chaos was far from over. A few days after Lobo's explosive live, a new player entered the game. Someone nobody expected. None other than J. Cole, who had stayed silent through most of the feud, suddenly posted a photo of a burning feather on his story. No caption, no tag, just a feather, on fire. People lost their minds. Was Cole siding with Kendrick? Was he sending a warning to OVO? And if so, why now? Well, here's the twist. A trusted industry insider came forward, claiming that Cole had actually been caught in the middle of the Kendrick-Drake tension for years. Apparently, there had been secret talks in 2021 for a joint album, Drake x Cole x Kendrick, to drop as a surprise collaboration. But it fell apart behind the scenes due to creative distrust, and Cole ended up walking away. The insider said Cole warned both parties that if it ain't real, it won't last. And now, with everything exploding publicly, Cole had finally picked a side, and it looked like he was riding with K-. Meanwhile, Kendrick was preparing something massive. Remember that short film we mentioned? Feathers in the Fire. Well, new leaks revealed that it wasn't just a film, it was part of a multi-phase project. The film, a new EP, and a visual series featuring anonymous interviews with industry insiders. Insiders who had witnessed the deception firsthand. The trailer for the visual series dropped without warning on a Sunday night. Black and white footage. Voices distorted. One person saying, "I mixed vocals for two people, but only one got the credit." Another whispering, "We were told never to speak on it." And at the end, just 3 words on the screen, "Truth. Don't." Stream. It was a clear shot at the idea that some artists had built their careers on numbers, not reality. And here's where it gets really wild. A former OVO studio assistant, under a fake name, did an interview with a European podcast. In it, she claimed that OVO had been using a rotation system since at least 2015, where reference artists would record placeholder vocals for hooks and bridges. Then, with advanced layering and effects, Drake's voice would be slipped in during final production, masking who really performed certain parts. He wasn't lazy, she said, but he wasn't always present. Sometimes he'd approve takes from across the world. He treated vocals like product, not expression. And just like that, the internet broke in half. Fans revisited old songs. Hotline Bling, Passion Fruit, Jungle. Suddenly, questions swirled. Was it all real? Was any of it? Kendrick's silence became deafening. His Brazil performance now looked like prophecy. And to make things even more dramatic, Brazilian authorities got involved. Yep, you heard that right, Doe. 2. To the explosive nature of the leaked FaceTime footage and alleged manipulation of local press, Brazilian lawmakers opened a preliminary investigation into foreign media interference. Wild, right? A rap beef turning into a geopolitical controversy? And guess who they asked to give a statement? Lobo. Sources confirmed that he'd been subpoenaed to provide clarity on whether foreign entertainment companies had attempted to influence local media around Kendrick's show. Lobo agreed and told officials he'd reveal everything when the time is right. The internet was in full frenzy. Brazil had gone from tourist stop to epicenter of hip-hop. Someone from Kendrick's own circle flipped it. It started with a single Instagram story from a low-key producer named Theory, someone who's been loosely affiliated with PG Lang but never in the spotlight. Most fans barely knew his name. He'd quietly contributed to a few tracks on Kendrick's albums, handled background sound design, and according to a now-deleted Reddit thread, once worked on a shelved documentary project during the Mr. Morale era. On a quiet Monday afternoon, Theory posted a black screen with one line of text: "Truth don't stream, but neither do lies." Then he dropped a second story, This time, a blurry photo of a hard drive labeled PG Internal Volume 3 under it. A caption that read, "He ain't tell y'all everything." And just like that, the internet split again. Within hours, hip-hop forums were flooded with theories. Did Theory betray Kendrick? Was he siding with OVO? Or was this some deeper warning about Kendrick hiding secrets of his own? And then came the bombshell. Theory went live. Sitting in a dimly lit studio, face half-shadowed. He looked tired, paranoid, and his voice shook slightly when he spoke. "I ain't here to defend nobody," he said. "But if we've gone talk about manipulation, let's not act like it only live in one camp." He went on to say that while he respected Kendrick as an artist, PG Lang had been moving like a machine just as much as anyone else. Everybody picking sides, acting like one man pure and the other's a villain. But they both been playing chess. Y'all just pawns. Fans were shocked. Some defended Kendrick instantly. Others demanded receipts. But Theory wasn't done. He claimed that Feathers in the Fire had been in production long before the Brazil show and that Kendrick knew exactly how to bait Drake into responding. He studied him, Theory said. Studied how Drake react when you poke the ego. And that show in Rio. That wasn't just about truth. It was about control. He even suggested that the FaceTime clip, the one shown on the screen behind Kendrick during the Brazil concert, might have been edited for maximum impact. Not fake, he clarified, but framed, trimmed, timed just right to make it hit a certain way. And then before ending the live, he looked straight into the camera and said something that sent chills through the culture. "This ain't just beef. This industry run on illusion. The real question is, who feeding y'all the illusion y'all want to believe?" And just like that, he logged off. Every man that stand near the throne start dreaming of building they own per. And when they can't match the tone, they call the mic a weapon. The bars were surgical. No beat drops. Just slow drums and a piano loop. Fans immediately declared it a return to Kendrick's untitled, unmastered days, raw truth, no filter. And in that one verse, he took back control of the narrative. Meanwhile, Drake's camp went quiet, like dead silent. No tweets, no cryptic stories, no owl merch drops, just stillness. People started speculating, was he regrouping, plotting a full diss track? Or worse, was he out of moves? But then came one final twist that even the most diehard fans didn't see coming. Apple Music announced a new exclusive docuseries titled Stream Wars, The Unseen Battles of Hip-Hop. And guess who was featured? Not just Kendrick, not just Drake, but Lobo, Theory, Cole, and even some anonymous producers who had worked with both OVO and PG Lang. The trailer was brief but powerful. Flashes of contracts, audio waveforms on screens. One producer saying, "Sometimes the verse you love came from someone you never knew existed." The trailer ended with a close-up of a torn OVO owl and a cracked mirror reflecting Kendrick's face. People went ballistic. Now, the beef wasn't just in the music. It was being documented, serialized, packaged for the masses, and depending on your perspective, that made everything more real or more performative. But no matter where you stood, one thing was clear. The Kendrick versus OVO saga had changed the culture. Brazil wasn't just a concert anymore. It was a cultural checkpoint. A moment when truth, illusion, ego, art, and strategy collided. And fans, they were forever changed. Across the world, the impact lingered. From underground rap battles in Los Angeles referencing owl masks, to high school ciphers in Brazil ending with kids yelling, "Truth don't stream," the echoes were everywhere. And the most poetic part? Neither Drake nor Kendrick released an official diss track because they didn't have to dot every move they made. Every silence, every post, every clip was the diss, a cold war of calculated truths, distorted voices, and blurred lines. As October came to a close, fans were left with more questions than answers. But that's the beauty of it. Kendrick burned the house. down in Brazil, and he left the world to sift through the ashes. So here we are. After weeks of lyrical warfare, secret recordings, emotional betrayal, and shocking plot twists, the dust still hasn't settled. Kendrick Lamar tore through Brazil like a storm, flipped the narrative on one of the most protected brands in rap, and exposed what many believe is the industry's biggest illusion. And somehow, he never had to name names to do it. On the other side, OVO took heavy hits. The FaceTime clip, the ghost vocal claims, the producer confessions. Even the silence spoke louder than words. But let's be real, Drake's no stranger to pressure. And history has shown he's got a habit of coming back when folks count him out the most. So is this really the end for OVO? Or are they just reloading behind the scenes? And then you've got the wild cards, Lobo, Cole, Theory, each playing their own role in the chaos. And that new docu-series, it's only going to add more fuel to the fire. Fans are left asking the realest question of all. Do we care more about the truth or about the story? But now we want to hear your voice. Was Kendrick being authentic or strategic? Did Drake finally meet his match? Or is this all just marketing smoke? Who do you believe is holding the real truth in this war of silence, mirrors, and microphones? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Don't hold back. And if you've been riding with us through this whole saga, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Because this story, it's far from over. This has been your deep dive into the drama. See you in the next episode. Stay tuned, stay woke, and remember, truth don't stream, but it always surfaces, always surfaces.